So this is the all-new XGIMI Horizon S Max. It's a gimbal-designed 4K laser projector with dual light technology. This is it projecting onto a 100-inch screen with lights on in the room. And I don't think it's too bad. Now, if you're familiar with XGIMI products, you'll know that they come packaged very well, and this projector is no different. As I said, this is the S Max version that we're looking at today. Everything that you need is going to be in the box. You've got your power pack, and you've got your batteries and remote control, as well as a user manual. Speaking of remote control, it's a fairly basic one. It's the same one that I've had now for the last couple of years, but it works very well. It just would be great if it was backlit. But here is everything that is in the box. On the bottom of the projector is a tripod mount and the turntable. This thing rotates super smoothly and very easily 360 degrees. I really like the simple gimbal design. I think it looks elegant, yet still very modern. And it does the job really well. It holds the projector in any position, no matter where you position the projector. So it's not going to fall back into a certain position. And I also like the fact that you've got the connections at the top of the projector, means that you're not going to get any wires caught up. The power input is also on the bottom of the turntable, and again this means that the wires will not get tangled. One thing that I am a little bit disappointed about is the fact that there is only one HDMI port, and this doubles up as an eARC port, so if you are using this for sound, there is no other HDMI connection. And as the design of this thing just looks so good, I just think it's a little bit of an oversight. Okay, it's time to get this thing fired up now and see what it can produce. When you do turn it on, you get the same theatre that you got on the Ultra and also the Aura 2 with the dust cover automatically opening. And then a few seconds later, you'll get the projector turning on. Having that drop-down dust cover means that your lens is protected, but also your sensors are as well. And that, I think, is a really nice feature. When you first turn the projector on, then you'll get the auto keyframe correction. And if you've got a screen, you can set it to auto-fit the screen. And this worked every time, all of the time. There wasn't any times where it didn't work. Now, this is running Android TV 11. And that, for me, is a little bit of a disappointment. I would have loved to have seen Google TV on here, which means that you are going to have a workaround for Netflix. You can do it via apps, but it's just a little bit frustrating. There is the same wall adaptation feature which we saw on the Aura 2, and that works really well, gives you a nice balance when you're using a coloured wall. So you don't have to have a screen for this projector, but when you have got a screen, the image that you're getting is absolutely incredible. And I'm really amazed that you can get this type of quality from such a small projector. The screen uniformity is absolutely perfect. But what about sharpness? Well, the sharpness is pretty good too. As you can see from this test, all four corners are absolutely pin sharp, and the contrast is fantastic. I measured the brightness in all different modes, but the brightest that I could get it was just around the 3000, so slightly under what was advertised. However, this could be down to room conditions. But that is still incredibly good. And the contrast handling, again, was fantastic. Every single different shade of black and white was clearly visible. The other thing that was really impressive is when we measured the colors, the color accuracy of this projector right out of the box is fantastic. There were really very few changes that needed to be made. Obviously, you can tweak it to your heart's content, but you don't need to. The color accuracy is great, and all of the main colors that come through this projector just look absolutely natural and vibrant and crisp. Now, this uses the dual light technology, but they've split it this time, where you can have it either as dual light or you can have it as laser. Now, you can operate this from the picture settings, and then you can choose either to have a tricolor laser source, and that says that you may be more prone to speckle, but I'll show you in a second, I didn't see any, or you can choose dual light and get extra brightness. And when you see them side by side, look at the whites particularly, there is a big difference in the dual light. You're definitely getting that extra brightness boost. Now, in the reality of side-by-side footage playing exactly the same thing in the two different modes, you don't necessarily see that much difference. Maybe the highlights in the dual light are a little bit more emphasized, whereas on the laser you don't see those quite as much. But both look great, and both of them handle the lights and the contrast really well. Now, I does say in the tri-laser mode you are more prone to laser speckle. I've gone as close as I possibly can, but still keeping things in focus on the screen, and I didn't really see any at all. The odd little lines that you do see are just the camera frequency, and you don't see those in reality, but there's pretty much zero sign, for me personally, of any laser speckle. This projector does have dynamic contrast, and when you do turn that on, it is noticeable the difference that you get. It darkens the screen probably by about 10 to 15%. For gamers, XGIMI have measured the input lag at under 20 milliseconds, and when I measured it, I got 18.2 milliseconds. So that is all good. And gaming on this is great. That's fast enough to be completely fun. It's probably not as fast as some of those new ones, which are around 4 to 8 milliseconds. So for competitive gamers out there, it still might be a bit slow, but this is also how it sounds. So the two Harman Kardon 12-watt speakers do a pretty good job. It's a nice sounding machine. It does support DTS and Dolby audio, but obviously, as I say in every projector video that I do, if you're serious about getting the best sound, then you definitely need to hook this thing up to a soundbar. However, with the 1 HDMI port, you won't be able to do that because you won't be able to play your PS5. One big factor this year is convenience. Being on a gimbal and having that turntable means that you can position the projector almost anywhere. And with the uninterrupted keystone correction and focus, it will focus and straighten the image on the fly as you go. So you don't have to worry about resetting it up. And when you're done, you can position it back down and it will automatically snap back into place exactly how you had it before. Now this works if you're off at an angle as well. You don't have to have it just straight on. And as you twist the projector around, you'll notice that the image will go all skewed. And then within a couple of seconds, it will just straighten, focus, and works perfectly. And if you move the projector just a little bit slowly, then it does it as you're going. You don't need to wait for it to snap back into place. It really is super clever and super smart. But that's not the only other tech in this projector. As well as obstacle avoidance and automatic screen fit, it's got the other technology built into it as you'd expect, where you can drag the four corners of the screen to get a precise image and make sure it's straight. And you've also got both autofocus and also manual focus. And there's also screen shift, where this will digitally move the screen left and right and up and down. One thing that I really like is XGIMI Wall. This is where you can have various different screensavers running in the background, from a wetland camping scene to the scene looking out of a window on Mars. Or you can get the galaxy and Milky Way. And if you want to, you can use the gimbal just to project that up onto the ceiling. And it looks really good and it's pretty effective in a dark room. So this projector supports IMAX Enhanced, and so not only are you getting the extra color grading, which IMAX Enhanced is renowned for, you are also getting the extra screen size. So if you look on the right-hand side, the top and bottom of the screen, you've got a lot more on show. So you are actually getting a lot better experience, plus you're actually getting a bigger screen. It's about 26% bigger. As well as big screen movies, I believe that projectors should handle SDR and normal satellite and cable content just as well as they do movies. And I'm pleased to report that the XGIMI does a cracking job. Everything looks super natural. There is no issues at all. The colors again are just as well balanced as if they are in HDR mode and in 4K. So it doesn't really matter what you put through this, it's going to look good on your screen. So in summary, my friends, the Horizon S Max from XGIMI is a great projector. It's super bright. Those 3100 ISO lumens is fantastic, and the color accuracy at 110% of the BT 2020 color gamut is just fantastic. Everything that you put through this will look superb. There are just two things which I think that I don't like, that's too harsh to say, but there's three things that I wish would improve. A backlit remote control, an extra HDMI port, and Google TVs. I do think that this still represents pretty fair value for money. Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next.